Hi, and thank you for joining me today. This is Donna from Clever Crafting. Look at this cutie patootie card. I just love this one. It's got that little flip inside with the little surprise element. It's so sweet. And this month's kit is just a beauty with these little gnomes. All right, we're going to start with a standard A6 card base. And this matte piece that's going on the top here is 10 centimeters wide and 14.3 centimeters tall, which is the number 2 size out of the metric rectangle, so you can cut it nice and easily. So you can see that I'm popping glue on the back here. Now this is quite important. You can see that I'm not putting a lot of glue, but I am putting it over a good portion of the back of my pattern paper here, because I want to make sure that this is nice and secure, because I'm going to die cut into this. Now, not only am I going to just rub it down there like that, I'm going to use my bone folder to make sure I've squashed all the glue to the edges. When I put glue on, I don't go right to the edge either, so it doesn't seep out too much. So this is the little gnome that I'm going to put in the center, on the upper center section of my card. And I'm just making sure that the shape that I use, I'm just going to use a circle on this one, is big enough for my gnome to fit into. So I'm going to position that. You can see I like to have it even on the 3 sides, but it is closer to the top because I'm going to put my greeting down the bottom section. I'm going to hold that into place with some washi tape, and I'm going to run that through my die cutting machine. So with the magic of video, here it is, and it's all done. So another piece that comes in the kit is some of this plain purple, and I think that that's going to be a lovely contrast with that pink that comes in the paper pack with this kit. I'm going to cut out a circle the same size as that original circle, but I also want to cut a couple of others. You can see that on this one I've got that edge around it, and the center piece of it matched the front piece, so I cut it out of the little circle that I cut out of the front of the card. I'm hoping that we can understand that. That was a little bit confusing, wasn't it? But you can see that what I'm doing is I'm using the circle piece that I cut out of the front of the card, and I'm cutting a smaller circle out of it because I'm going to use those 2 pieces. So I'm going to use the center piece of that on the front of the card like it is there, and then the ring on the back side of that little flip. You can see that I've done that on that card example that I'm holding up. All right, so in addition to that, I'm going to need a little white piece. So I went off to my little die cutting machine and I cut all of them, and I also cut out another white cardboard piece for the inside. Now I do need my little hinge piece, so I'm just going to cut that using my Tim Holtz cutter here out of the scrap of the purple cardstock that I've got left over. So this way I've got minimal waste, which is great. So I've got that other little piece left over. You can see I've put to the side there that I'm going to be able to use for another project. And I'm just going to cut that hinge piece there. All right. We need to just fold in our hinge because this is going to have a bit of pressure on it. I do want to use my scoring board just to loosen up and bruise, I guess, those paper fibers, so when I fold it over it's not going to split and it should hold nice and secure. I am going to reinforce that. You can see there with my bone folder. All we need to do to make this hinge work is to pop a bit of glue on it, and we're going to line it up on the inside piece and stick it down. So that should be fine and dandy. And when we close it, yep, you can see that that fits in there beautifully. It's kind of the center to the circle, and it goes halfway across. Now it's a matter of putting our feature together, our central part of our card. Now I've decided that I'm going to pop my gnome up a little bit. You can see how those pieces come together. I haven't been using much foam tape anymore. I've been using just a bit of cardboard. This is actually from a motherboard. My husband's a computer repair guy. But you could use any boxes that your, any appliances come in. It's just a nice firm cardboard that I'm putting on the back. And I'm going to add some more glue onto that and pop it. I was nearly going to pop it on the purple piece there, but remembered that I was supposed to pop it on the pink piece. So it probably would be better if you had stuck the smaller circle to the larger circle first, but that's okay. This works. It's good to see that we don't always do everything perfectly, and even with editing, we can make mistakes. So I'm just going to now pop glue on the back of this small circle And it, of course, is going to go on the larger circle. Now, although I've done this with circles, I've also done this with hexagons and hearts and scalloped circles. So you can do it with any shape. And if you go over to our Facebook group, you'll be able to see some other examples of this amazing card. So you can see that what I've done is I have just closed the front of the card and I'm putting glue on the flap so I know the right place to put my glue. And then I'm going to position my circle, with my little gnome on it, in place like a jigsaw puzzle so I know it's going to be perfectly positioned. All right, happy days, that looks lovely. Now I'm just going to do the back. So this is the little ring that was left over, so it's a circular frame from where I cut out of the front of the card. So I like to make sure I use everything, so I'm sticking that on the back and lining that up with the circle because it should be the perfect size. Then the little white piece that I cut, I am going to pop some glue on that and put that over the back as well. So that hinge is beautiful and neat that's on the back of the purple. You can't see it at all once we've got all of these lovely pieces on it. So the only other thing we need now is to pop that other little white rectangle of light. This is a lightweight cardstock in the center there. So I use the J. Burrows 240 GSM cardstock from Officeworks. And you can see that what I did is just grabbed a pencil and made a little mark there so I knew where to line up my greeting that I'm going to pop inside. On the original one that I showed you at the beginning of the video, there wasn't a greeting in there. There was actually a little flower. My friend Carol made that one for me to be able to show you all. And this one though, I'm actually going to pop a greeting in this section, but it's totally up to you whichever way you want to do it. I'm using the VersaFine Black Onyx or Onyx Black ink because it's a perfect ink for doing greetings. And I've just put that piece of card off to the side to dry a little bit because being a pigment ink, it actually takes a minute to dry. So while that's drying, I'm just going to stick a flower. This is also from the beautiful stamp set, the Gnome stamp set that comes in this month's kit. So I've stamped that and colored it and used the dies to cut them out. I'm just popping some glue on the back because I'm going to put that on the inside of the little flippy thing on the card. Can we call that a little flippy thing? I'm pretty sure we can. Give that a little bit of pressure. Just removing the pencil marks that you saw me put earlier on my inside piece. You can see that I put that other little sunflower down the bottom because I thought that was cute. Actually, one of the ladies did that in class the other night and I've copied it because it's just super cute place to put that other little flower. Pop a little bit of glue on the back of this and line that up to put it in the middle, and that will cover the other end of the hinge so it keeps everything so beautifully neat. All I'm doing now is adding a greeting to the front. So I made this little greeting embellishment from the packaging that comes with the kit, and I foiled it, but I'll put another video together on how I made those. Stick that on the front. Make sure I put away my glue, tidy up my desk, and here we go. Look at that. This beautiful, beautiful card. So lovely and simple. As I mentioned earlier, please feel free to go over to our Clever Paper Crafts Facebook group. I will put a link below for that to have a look at other versions of this card. They're all stunning and it's so simple, and it could easily be a mass-produced card and is perfect for any occasion. You could also use any ephemera that you've got, any shapes that you've got, any papers that you've got. It'll just go with everything. Here's a close-up look at all of the bits and pieces. If you're interested in the kit, I will put a link for that below as well, for you to be able to go through and have a look at. But you can definitely make this card out of anything that you've currently got in your stash, and that's one of the great things about this card. It's suitable, as I mentioned, for all sorts of things. Please make sure you check out our Facebook page, and until next time I see you, stay safe and happy crafting.